George started smoking at the age of 27. At first, it was just a few cigarettes for social reasons, but gradually it became an indispensable habit. To him, a cigarette was a silent companion, always there when the pressures of work weighed him down, when family life was unstable, or even in those rare moments of peace. 40 years passed, and cigarettes became so ingrained in his daily life that they felt like a part of him. He used to tell himself, "I've lived this long. It's fine. What's the point of quitting now?" That phrase repeated in his mind like an excuse, urging him to keep going. He didn't think he had the strength to change. Aging brought fatigue, and he had grown accustomed to the idea that his body had endured all these years, so he might as well continue as is. But deep inside, he knew he wasn't really okay. It was just that nothing had been strong enough. Nothing had reached him. Until he wanted to start over. That afternoon, the soft sunlight spilled over the porch. George was sitting in his usual wooden chair, lighting a cigarette like usual, when Ellie, his 4-year-old granddaughter, ran up behind him and hugged him. But then she froze, frowned, and looked up at him, asking in her innocent voice, "Grandpa, why do you always smell like fire?" Her question, light as a breeze, hit George like a thunderclap. He suddenly felt a lump in his throat. Not out of shame, but because for the first time he saw himself through her clear, untainted eyes. He had once thought of himself as strong, and that old age was immune to change. But that innocent question shattered the tough shell he had built over the years. He loved Ellie more than anything, and now he understood. Love wasn't just about hugging and comforting. It was about giving her the chance to grow up in a clean, smoke-free environment, both literally and figuratively. When Ellie's question echoed in his mind, everything changed. It was no longer about the warnings from doctors or fears about illness. This time, the motivation to quit came from somewhere else, from the unconditional love for his granddaughter. He wanted every time Ellie ran up to hug him, she wouldn't wrinkle her nose at the smell of cigarette smoke. He wanted every time she breathed in, there wouldn't be an invisible cloud of smoke blocking her fresh air. He no longer wanted to stop walking with his granddaughter because he couldn't breathe. He wanted to have enough strength to run and play with Ellie in the park without needing to stop due to coughing or shortness of breath. These reasons became a powerful motivation, helping him fight off cravings for a cigarette. Every time the desire for a cigarette came, he imagined playing with Ellie, hearing her joyful laughter, and feeling his own breath, fresh and clean, and that was worth fighting for. Quitting smoking at 67 wasn't easy. Every night, George tossed and turned in bed, feeling as though waves of cravings were pulling him under, leaving his mind tangled. His irritability grew stronger, sometimes forcing him to leave the room so he wouldn't hurt his loved ones. There were times when he stood in front of the bathroom mirror, looking at himself and unable to hold back tears. He missed the comfort of smoking a cigarette after a meal, the feeling of finding a little peace in a chaotic world. But every time those thoughts came, he would reach for a picture of Ellie, the little girl with bright eyes who always looked forward to morning walks with him. He looked at her innocent face and reminded himself, "I'm doing this for her. I can't let her see me like this." It was those reminders that helped him get through each night, each day. Every time he felt like giving up, he thought of his granddaughter, and his resolve would reignite, helping him continue forward. 3 months later, George had not touched a cigarette. Although the cravings still lingered at times, they gradually weakened, like a small wave that came and went quietly. Every morning, he noticed a clear difference in his body. His breath was deeper and fresher, his sleep more peaceful, no longer filled with restless nights or long coughing fits. However, what made him happiest wasn't the physical changes, but hearing his granddaughter shout from afar, "Grandpa, you smell like sunshine." That sweet compliment rang out like a soft melody, soothing all the struggles and sacrifices he had made to quit smoking. He suddenly realized that quitting smoking wasn't about losing a habit, it was about reclaiming a part of life he had unknowingly lost over the years. He not only breathed easier, but he also lived more fully, savoring every moment with his family, with those he loved. Quitting smoking isn't easy, especially when it has been with you for decades. But this story is proof that it's never too late to start over. Whether you are 55, 65, or even 75, the moment you decide to stop is the moment you choose to love yourself once again. Quitting smoking isn't just about giving up a bad habit, it's a promise to your children, your loved ones, and to yourself that you still have healthy years ahead of you, years worth living to the fullest. Your breath will be lighter, your sleep will be deeper. Every morning you wake up, you'll find you still have enough strength to live, to love, and to proudly say, I did it.